Hello everyone. Welcome to the La Liga Week channel. I'm going to be talking about the Real Madrid Man City game which just happened. This is something I'll be doing a lot on this channel. Something I did not do in my previous channel is talk about games as soon as they happen. And well, Real Madrid people almost wrote them off before the first leg against Man City because they were coming off of a very poor run of losses against Getafe and Osasuna and teams like that. I think no one expected Real Madrid to be this dominant over Man City. I mean, Man City is not having the best of seasons, but you still can't take them lightly. They are a team that are second in the Premier League, are in the finals of the Carabao Cup, and are just a well balanced, well rounded team, right? They have such a good squad. They have one of the best managers of all time. Even on their bad day, they can make a difference. But the problem with this City team is every single day is their bad day, right? They are not consistent at all this season, and that really played in Real Madrid's favor, right? First leg, I was gonna make a video about the first leg, but I thought let's just talk about the two legs together. First leg is all about Federico Valverde, isn't it? Literally nothing else matters from that leg. Should really be called the Federico Valverde match because he tormented the City defense in the first half. The game was wrapped up. It was a game of four halves over two legs. But to be honest, the truth is that the tie was wrapped up in the first half itself, the first leg, right? Yeah, the talking point of that game was also Vinicius Jr. missing a penalty, but I think it's like he's so cruel. It's like he gave the City fans hope that, oh, I missed a penalty, my confidence will be shot. I'm going to be so low on confidence, and this will probably give you a chance to come back, maybe stage a comeback in the second leg. It's like people I saw were comparing it to like when Dembele missed that goal against Liverpool in the dying minutes of that game, Barca versus Liverpool in 2019. Right, he missed that chance, and that chance was so crucial to them getting knocked out and not making it to the next round, right? And so many fans on Twitter were like superimposing those two pictures, like if Vinicius Jr. misses this penalty and this is a decisive factor, then we're screwed, honestly. But it didn't matter because the confidence on that guy to still take a penalty when the penalty was given for a handball on Bernardo Silva, which was, I think, a stupid decision by the City player. Like, I read a tweet somewhere that says that unless you're really in the dying minutes of the game, or it's something that you cannot afford, right? Like at that moment, only then you should be blocking a clear cut goal with your hands, with your whatever illegal part of the body you'd like to use. But to do that 20 minutes into the second leg of the tie, we're already 3-0 down. I think that was stupidity. I think he didn't really know where the ball was coming from, or it came too fast at him, it whizzed at him, or something like that. But I think I agree with that statement that I think I read it on Twitter by Diane Christine, who says, and I agree with her. I echo her statements that unless it's absolutely necessary, don't get a red card in the early stages of a game. We saw that happen with Ronaldo Araujo at so many fixtures against Chelsea, against PSG last season. Um, so when you're in such a crucial tie, unless it's like the 85th minute, your keeper's out of position, or you just know that if you concede this, the tie is over. Only then I think you should like really stop a goal in that way. But yeah, Silva probably had a brain freeze moment, and he thought he did well. I mean, Donnarumma was lifting him up in his arms to celebrate that, but I guess it was not a fair thing to do, and rightly so. He was sent off, and something I noticed in the second half, in the second leg rather, of the tie was that City were horrible at finishing chances. Yeah, but I think it was a disease that spread through both the camps because I haven't checked the stats yet, but Man City had so many chances. I know when you have Thibaut Courtois on the other end and then Lunin afterwards stopping the goal, standing between the sticks so dominantly, it's a bit difficult to score past him or get your confidence up that you're going to beat this guy. But City were horrendous with some of the chances that they took and the crosses that they put in. balls were not finding Haaland or any of the striker. Doku was the only bright spot I saw in that team over both of the legs, and he was absolutely tormenting Alexander Arnold to a point that two other players had to step in to mark Jeremy Doku. But again, great plan by Arbeloa. He knows that Trent is not the strongest defensively. Offensively, he's one of the greatest, but defensively, he has the shortcomings, and Arbeloa knew that Doku would be a threat down that flank, and aptly he made adjustments to the defensive structure, saying that I think it was Valverde who was coming back to mark alongside Trent. Sometimes it was Arda Güler. It was good to see how they, because if they didn't do it, Jeremy Doku had the power to change the game. He already showed the brilliance he has running down the wing with his pace and his flair, and it's just I think it was a great call by Arbeloa to allow an extra player marking Doku. But you look at Haaland, right? You look at Rodri. You look at Nunez. Second leg, I'm just talking about. I'm not talking about the first leg anymore. Didn't have like any sort of like a desire to kind of get this game by the grab it by its neck. There were times when Real Madrid was playing the possession game, like how City does, and I think in the first half, City didn't care about like pressing them or forcing them to make mistakes. They were just like Haaland. I saw him lead the line to kind of like get everyone to rally together. Haaland was like pressing all the way into the Real Madrid half, but it was not coherent. It was not cohesive. It was very poor from a team that is so well built and is so rigid with their structure. They do so well in shutting down opponents and like suffocating them with like 400 passes before they make a goal. But it was not meant to be. Pep Guardiola, is he to blame for a lot of these decisions? I heard the commentators say that this was the 10th different defensive lineup that Guardiola has put out in the Champions League. He's played 10 games this season, and this is his 10th different game, 10 different defensive line. So when you do these changes, I don't know why. I mean, I know that there were injuries and suspensions and a lot of other threats that was the reason for this, but I just feel like you don't experiment this on such a big stage, especially after you went like you went 3-0 down in the first leg. What else did you expect? You need a remontada that's of the caliber of what Barcelona pulled off against PSG or what Sporting did against Bodo Glimt, right? But it's just a bit too much when you're Real Madrid, and when you see Vinicius Jr. flying down the wings, Valverde at his absolute monster best, Arda Güler putting the strings in the midfield, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool boy, just pinging crosses into the box, going into his wrong foot as well, sometimes coming inside. I just think that yeah, it had potential to be a great game. I think neutrals would have probably enjoyed it. I loved it because Real Madrid went through, and as a Spanish football fan, as a La Liga Vic myself, I would like to see as many Spanish teams as possible into the next rounds. Atleti and Barca play tonight rather, and there's a good chance both of these teams should go through as well. But honestly, Real Madrid really impressed me ever since those spells that they had in La Liga where they fell to Getafe, Osasuna, very lucky win against Celta Vigo with the last minute deflected goal. Um, After that, I think Arbeloa really took a good look at the squad he has and the decisions he has to make, and they are doing these victories against big European teams without the likes of Mbappe, who just came back, without the likes of Jude Bellingham. Mondi wasn't there. Courtois is injured, so second half was all Lunen's heroics. So you really wonder what this team is capable of when they are at full potential, when they are running at full steam. But I think even without that, it's like you really have to think what Madrid still has in store, because next up is going to be Bayern. I mean, unless Atalanta pull off a miracle and defeat Bayern, which is probably not going to happen, despite the stories we tell about the Champions League and how great it is and how we love to see the stories unfold. But once Bodo got eliminated. Man, my love for this season's Champions League kind of died. Like, I mean, this was supposed to be a fairy tale story for Bodo, but it didn't happen. So yeah, it's probably going to be Bayern next round, and they are also coming up against Atletico Madrid. So Madrid derby is coming up. I think El Clasico is next month as well. So Madrid is gonna enter a very tumultuous phase of their season. This is the make or break period. This City victory was much needed because the way they scrapped past Benfica in those two legs, and the league phase final game also against Benfica, the way they lost to a goalkeeping header at the end, and then then the narrow, scrappy, covered with controversy victories against Benfica. They really needed a statement performance to still say that they are the kings of Europe, and they just delivered that. And I think, with that being said, there is a good chance that Madrid kind of pick up their steam from this point onwards. I think they should. I think they should. Arbeloa should be running high on confidence. He beat City over two legs, both individual victories as well. I know they've won on aggregate, but they also won on the day as well in both those fixtures, right? And players, I think, are just coming back into form now. Vinicius is rediscovering his confidence after the incidents that happened with him. Chouameni looks sharp. Mondi is coming back. Brahim will be probably in a better mood now that Morocco have been named the AFCON champions after it was his penalty miss late in the game in the final against Senegal that kind of like let the trophy slip away from them. But yeah, so Brahim is gonna be back in form. Federico Valverde is flying. He's like the best player in the world right now. Um, Definitely the best, one of the best in La Liga right now. I think there's nothing to really count Madrid off. I think Bayern, like I said that Man City was going to be too much for Madrid because of the way they are playing, City, the way they're playing. So I'm not going to go out and say that Bayern will be a big test for Madrid, because if Madrid really, really kind of, they have that sort of aura around the Champions League, right? Champions League nights roll in, and it's just so hard to defeat that team. They rightly say, they rightly brag or flex their 15 Champions Leagues, because the way they played today, they might have not won in La Liga. The way they played today, they might have lost to a team like, I don't know, Alaves, or they might have lost to like Villarreal, Valencia, someone like that, right? But I just don't know if it's a Premier League thing, or it's a Guardiola thing, or it's a Real Madrid thing. The way they come alive when they face opponents, when they need, when it's a do or die, when it's a knockout, when they know everyone's like doubting them, they just come alive in a way that I don't see any other team do. The attachment that they have with the Champions League is just phenomenal. They don't wear a double digit number on their Champions League shirt for no reason. There is the reason, and that is that they are the kings of Europe, right? Will Bayern be a bit too much for them? I don't know. I'm not gonna make an early call. For me, the focus now is for Barcelona and Atletico Madrid to go through. Atletico is probably already through. I mean, Spurs really not in the best of times to come back from a 5-2 deficit. But Barcelona, I doubt how well they're gonna play. I mean, they're gonna be playing at home, so it's always gonna be an advantage. But Newcastle really suffocated them the last time around, and I hope to see Hansi Flick come up with some solutions. Need all the three Spanish teams to go through. Need the Premier League teams to fall off. We've already seen City and Chelsea out. Would love to see Newcastle as well, and Spurs most likely going out. Um, so yeah, that would mean that just I think that just wraps it up well. That Real Madrid had a great performance, and I think this is the form that's very exclusive to the Champions League. That they cannot probably replicate this form this way, in this manner, with this much passion in La Liga. But as long as they maintain these different personalities in different competitions, and it allows them to kind of drift in and out of those personas, I think the Real Madrid is in a good shape, in a good time in their lives right now to take care of these sort of phases. Now the focus shifts on La Liga until the next round of Champions League. I think at some point they're playing Atletico Madrid. I don't know how